Hello, dear students. I am audible. Dear students, are you there? I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Anup.
Thank you,
Okay, dear
sir.
students. So, welcome to OM with lab. So, as we are discussing in the previous lab, we have already completed all the lab sessions. Isn't it? We have completed all the lab sessions. So, today I'm going to repeat the proxy pattern because in the previous class, some of the students they told proxy pattern has to be repeated. So today, right from the scratch, I'm going to create the model. I'm going to generate the code. I'm going to execute the program. Everything I'm going to do. Okay. So you kindly go through the steps. Each one only every step you have to follow it. That's it. Okay. So now I'm going to share the PDF of the lab manual. Dear students, you can go through it. Okay. First, I will explain the program. Then I will show the steps how to implement it. So this is the PDF of the proxy pattern. So it's a pattern, design pattern, which makes the clients of a component to communicate with a representative rather than to component itself. And there, sometimes what happens, in order to perform the load balance on a server, if there is a huge amount of request on the server will go down. In that scenario, what happens, we will introduce the intermediate servers so called as a proxy servers. And these proxy servers have the ability, okay, they will behave just like an original server. See, just I'm going to give an example. If you are going to type www.yahoo.com in your browser, it may be a Chrome or it may be a Mozilla Firefox. Assume that that may be the first request. Okay? Okay. So So what happens when you type yahoo.com in your browser, it may be considered as a first request. So this request will be initially directed to the a proxy server, which is in the vicinity surrounding, okay, which is nearer. So once this request has been submitted to the proxy server, what this proxy server will do? It will analyze itself. It will verify itself whether these type of services are available in the cache memory of the proxy. Since this is the first request, ಮೊದಲನೇ ಸಲ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ this request is not present in the cache memory of the proxy servers. So now what this proxy server will do, it will ask for the main server, okay, original server which is present somewhere else geographically in a different place. So the request will be redirected to the original server. Now, once this request has been received by the original server, what it will do, it will check that this type of service. Since it is a original server, all kinds of services are available. So this will up the server service, that is the proxy server. Whatever the it is requesting for a service, Yahoo service, that will be up. It will be turned on, and this request will be redirected to the proxy server. Now, proxy server, what it will do, it will store that particular service in a cache memory, and that service will be again redirected to the client. Now, client is happy because yeah, Yahoo page is displaying on the screen. Everything is over. After certain period of time, means after maybe an half an hour. Okay. What happens? Another person types the same request, yahoo.com. Once again, this will be considered as a second request because first time is already over. This is a second request. The second request will be once again redirected to the proxy server. Now what happens? The proxy server already has this service in the cache memory. Instead of asking the original server, the proxy server itself, okay, itself gives all the services related to the Yahoo and the client too. Okay, the second attempt, whatever, whoever the client is requesting, that will be fulfilled or satisfied. So in place of a server, the proxy server behaves like a server. So this is called as a proxy server. So what is the application means? It is used for load balance because if huge amount of server service will be given for a server, it will hang up. For example, you consider the IRCTC website. Okay, so many requests will be redirected to the servers across the India. So what happens? The servers will be, it is going to hang up. That is why intermediate proxy servers they will be integrated. So these have the ability to behave like to provide the service just like a service. So for example, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿರೋದು. So I may be not present in the station, I may be out of station. In that situation, what you will do, you will ask your friends, so can you explain this particular concept because it may be tomorrow you can use. Answer is not available. In that scenario, your friend will explain the concept because you may be absent on that. So your friend behaves like a teacher. So he is acting like a teacher. So he's a proxy of a teacher, like that. Okay. So an intermediate server which behaves like an original server, this concept is called as a proxy server. So the class diagram here we have an abstract class. Okay. This is abstract class means generic class. It has a variable called as a str whose return type is and abstract class is a one of the method which is only declared here. It has been defined in the subclasses. There are two subclasses. One is a proxy class and the other one is a server class. So this proxy class contains m_proxy as one of the object which belongs to proxy class and get service is one of the method present in the server, that is original server. And similarly, if you consider the proxy, so we have the abstract class. Okay. So next we have m_server is an object, m_client is an object, and this is a constructor. Okay. So because name of the method, the name of the class is same, and server name, and we have a client, and this has an object called as a m_proxy whose data type is proxy, that is the class, and main method is present. So this is the dynamics, that is the sequence diagram. So a client will first time it will request for a service. What the proxy will do, it will find that service is available in the cache memory, self loop. Since it is not present because it's the first time, it will be redirected to the original server. Now the original server will give that service. This service will be stored in the cache memory of the proxy servers and the service will be given back to the client. So this is a sequence diagram. This is a collaboration diagram. Client. Now, collaboration and sequence diagram, they are same, one and same. Okay, they are same. Client, the sequence diagram and collaboration diagram, they are same. You can draw any one of them. So compare it to collaboration diagram, sequence diagrams are much more easier to understand and also easier to draw. So we have three objects, client, proxy, and server. So this is the number one, request for a service. Who client will requesting a service for a proxy. So this service is not available in the proxy. Number two, it will be redirected to the original server. Now the number three, it is going to respond. The main server is going to respond. The response will be given back to the server. That proxy, it will be given back to the proxy. So this caches the service. Number four is it is going to cache the service, and this service will be given back to the client. After a certain period of time, client asks the same service again. That is number five, because four is over. Number five is once again they're trying to access the same service. So this it will be redirected to the proxy. But number six is since that particular service is already present in the cache memory of the proxy server. So the cached service will be given by the proxy server instead of original server. Hence, we can reduce the load on the original server. So this is the code implementation. So I have an abstract class. The abstract class whose global variable we have here, that is str, and initially it has been initialized with the value null. So initially str will contain null. So I will take the main method because it is easier to understand once we start from main method. So this is the main method. Execution of the program will always start from here. So proxy m underscore proxy 1 is equals to new proxy. Now it means what? I have instantiated an object. The object name is m underscore proxy 1. It belongs to the class proxy. So now we will go to the proxy class. Here it is. This is the proxy class, which is a subclass of abstract because there is a generalization in between proxy and abstract. And we have some of the objects which have been just declared here, not defined, like abstract class, server, m underscore server, client, m underscore client. They are not yet instantiated, just declared. Now, so this is a dummy constructor, no need to configure this. So we'll go back. So system.out.println, first time establishment connection, because it's a first time request, you know. So that is why first time establishment of connection. So now m underscore proxy 1 here. The same object what we have just instantiated, it will be used to invoke a method called as server name. Now, so when you execute this statement m underscore proxy 1 dot server name, what happens? The control of the program jumps to which class? To which class? Anybody? The control of the program will jumps to which class? Okay, it jumps to proxy class because m underscore proxy 1 is an object which belongs to proxy class. Okay, so now this server name is a method. It is present in the proxy class. Let's go there to proxy and execute server name. So this is proxy. So this is proxy class, and here it is the server name. So this method we have to execute. So what happens? System.out.println. There is a message proxy arrow symbol will be displayed. If str is equals to null, can anybody tell me what is the value of str at this moment? It is, what is the value of str? It is here. The value of str initially is, it is null alva. So initially it is null. Okay. So that is why if block will be executed. Okay, if block will be executed because the value of str is null. So if block ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು statements ಇದೆ, ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಕೂಡ run ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು? First one, system.out.println, trying to get the service from the server. Why? Because this is the first time connection, you know. So that is why we have to get the service from the server. So now an object which has been declared here, that is m server, this object now will be instantiated, that is m underscore server is equals to new server. So now it has been instantiated. Okay, so now when you instantiate this server, So let us check whether what is going to happen in server. Here it is server. Okay. So there is no constructor. So that is why no need to consider. We can continue. So now str is equals to, okay. So str is equals to m underscore server, which has been now created, this object. Okay, this object dot get service. So get service is a method which is present in server class because m underscore server is a object. It has been instantiated with respect to server class. Okay, so that is why we have to execute now this method called as get service, and whatever the value of, because it's a function, so this function will return a value. That value will be stored in the str, which means str initially contains null value. That null value will be replaced by the value which has been returned by get service. Now let us find out what is there inside get service. In order to find out the code which is present in the get service, we have to go for a class. Which class we have to go for? So we have to go for server class because m underscore server is the object belongs to server class. So let's find out. We shall go for server class. It is here only. So and get service is a method here. Okay, and of course it's a method. It's a function whose return type is a string. So it will display some message here. Server is initializing. Okay, and the value of str now, it will be replaced by hello instead of null. Initially str contains null value. Now this null value will be initialized with hello value. Okay, and return str. So the value of hello dot 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 and exclamatory symbol, it will be written back to the by the function. Okay, so str now contains value hello. So this value will be again returned to. I will leave the file here. So this will contain the value. Okay, so now str contains value hello dot dot dot. Okay. Now system.out.println. Okay, system.out.println. Server says str. Server says str. What is the value of str? It is hello. So server says hello. So now this if block is completely exhausted. It has been executed. So control goes back to the main method again. So we have stopped here. So now once again we will continue from this statement. So now second time we are going to establish the connection. Second time now ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. Same method ಮತ್ತೆ m underscore proxy 1 dot server name. Same once again, same, everything is same. So this method is executed. Okay, server name m underscore proxy 1 server name. Once again, m underscore proxy 1 is a object belongs to server class, and server name is a method present in the server class. We will now once again go and execute over there. So we have to go for server class because we have to execute server name. Okay, and this server name is one of the method which is present in the server class. Because m underscore proxy is a class which is present in proxy. Okay, so we have to go for proxy class, not server class. When you go for proxy, there it is. This is the proxy class. Now this statement will be executed. Server name. This is the method what we are executing. And once again, system.out.println proxy. This method will be printed. This line will be printed. And now we will check if block is executed or else block is executed now. This is the second time connection. Anybody? If block or else block? So else block will be executed because the value of str now, it contains hello. If str is equal to null, this block will be executed. Since str contains hello, So else block will be executed. In else part, what is there? Proxy also cached your request, and proxy says hello because value of str is hello. So this is what the proxies are doing. Have you understood the code? Shall we go for modeling?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now just look at this model. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಮಾಡೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ತರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್? 1 2 3 4 4 ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Okay, so I hope the star UML is visible for all of you. Star UML ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ನಿಮಗೆ?
Yes, sir. Visible.
ಓಕೆ ಫೈನ್. ಈಗ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೋಡಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೈ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಯು ಎಮ್ ಎಲ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ. ನೀವೇನಾರ ಬೇರೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ತಗೊಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಕೇಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್, ಯೂಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್, then go to model, then add diagram, class, use case, sequence, collaboration ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಬಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡ್ರಾ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ 4 ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸೊ 4 ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇದೆ ನನಗೆ: ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್, ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, proxy, server. Okay, abstract class, okay, proxy, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ವರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್. ಸೊ 4 ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ನೋಡಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು CLEN ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು we have another class called abstract class. So next we have server class. Then we have another proxy, I think. ನಾಲ್ಕು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋಡಿ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್? ಇದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಜನರಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಜನರಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಜನರಲೈಸೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿ ಇಂದ ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ವರೆಗೂ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, similarly, what is the association between server and abstract class? Between server ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಏನಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಜನರಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಸಬ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂದ ಸೂಪರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ವರೆಗೂ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದು ಜನರಲೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬನ್ನಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಬೈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್. ಇದು ಬೈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್, ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಬೈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಯಿಂದ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಯಿಂದ ಸರ್ವರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ವರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇದು ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡೋದು?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನೋಡಿ, ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಸ್ str ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ರೈಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಗೋ ಟು ಆಡ್ ಅಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು str ಕೋಲನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಅದು ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಅದು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇದು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ a constructor here that is abstract class. That is a constructor. So right click, add operation, abstract class. ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬನ್ನಿ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಅಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇದೆ m_proxy. Okay, go to here, right click, add attribute m_proxy. ಅದರ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಏನು, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆಯೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮೇನ್ args ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. Next, go to here, right click, add operation, main args, and its return type ಏನು, void, public static void main ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟೈಪ್ void. ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ, ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೊಂದು ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ m_proxy ಸೇಮ್ ಆಡ್ ಅಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಬಲ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ m_proxy ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಕೋಲನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟೈಪ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ get service is a method, return type is string. Add operation, get service, and we will return type is string. So next ಈಗ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ದ ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ m server m client. Right. Type in on the m server m client. Add attribute underscore server, return type in upon the server. Next, add attribute. Em underscore proxy, return type is sorry, client server. We have proxy as a dummy constructor in Beda. Server name is a method. So we go to add operation server. The return type is going to be Yes, students, I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, students,
Yes, sir,
I am
audible.
audible. Yes, students, I am audible.
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay. So this is the way we can draw a sequence diagram and collaboration diagram. Any doubts in drawing these diagrams? Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay, now if you go for the class diagram, now how to generate the code. So first you have to create a folder. First you have to create a folder in JDK and in bin to create a folder. So here I have already created proxy. So I will create
Sir, screen share agila, sir.
another new folder called proxy1.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Now I will go back to star UML.
Sir,
Headache.
screen share agila, sir.
Ah, okay. So now I have created a new folder here, proxy1 in JDK in bin. This proxy1 is empty. It never contains any Java files. Now I go to model and right click on any one of it. Okay, I click in any one of it, go to Java, click on generate code and use logical view, click on next. And here successfully. Let me check. So go to proxy1. So now I will go to the task prompt. Only few students where all went. Okay, no problem. So now I will go to the DOS prompt so that I can execute the code. So here go to D, to JDK, actually proxy. Proxy1 since it is we go to proxy. So here we have the classes here. So check whether the path has been activated. Compiler is activated, so now activate it. X is equals to JDK. So now color is activated. Now type Java dot Java. So no error. Java, which program you have to interpret? Client, I think, because client contains main method. And when you execute, so this is the output. First time establishing the connection. Proxy, trying to get the service from the server. Server is initializing. Server says hello. Second time establishing the connection. So now instead of original server, proxy is able to give the services. So proxy says hello instead of server. So this is just a simulation of a proxy server using string matching mechanism. Any doubts here, students? Any doubts? Any queries? Let me know. Understood? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Heli. Have you understood?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay, 10 students, thank you. Okay, thank you so much. So I hope you know how to, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಯೂಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್, sequence diagram, collaboration diagrams. You can draw these kind of diagrams and you can generate the code. Later on, you can execute the Java files. Okay, dear students, I will stop here. So, thank you so much for joining the Software Design Lab, OMDT Lab. So, from tomorrow onwards, you people have internals. So, I hope, I wish all of you better luck, good luck for tomorrow internals. Thank you so much for joining OMDT Lab. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.